Okay, so why is financial stability so important? Because cash flow reasons are the number one reason why businesses fail. And if you don't have cash flow, then you're not going to have freedom. You're not going to have options or peace of mind. And actually, peace of mind is probably the most important thing there, because if you go home and you can't get over your stress, then comes a problem. Having cash flow eases the stress, allows you to lead better, and allows you to have that freedom to invest in certain areas or put your foot on the pedal in a direction and go. If you don't, then you don't have as many options and you're just trying to survive, right? And you want to be able to plan for growth, not just survive, right? So you want to have diversification in your income. You want to have multiple different fingers out there pulling in income, because you don't want all your eggs in one basket, so to say. You don't want any single income source to control your future. So when I built this business, I knew that from the start. I knew that if I just did only car openings or only residential locksmithing or only commercial or only safes or whatever, if I did only those little things, then I'm taking a niche trade and then taking 10% of that trade and saying, this is where I'm going to live. And you will live in that area, which isn't very good. You only get whatever the leftovers are, right? And you want to be able to have options, like if tariffs go up, right? Well, that's going to affect this part of the business, but I got these other parts of the business that aren't affected by that. Or if COVID happens, or things like that, or a pandemic, then that may affect some parts of your business, but you have the other parts of your business to lean on. So I would say diversification is very important for having a financially stable company, being diversified and having good cash flow. So in our company, we have a bunch of different ones. And I'll show you in a little bit kind of an outline of all the different trades that we do. But right now, let's talk about income stream categories that strengthen your business. This is ones that we have, right? Which could be applied to any other business. So we have retail sales, for one. We have a showroom with all kinds of products in it. Retail allows you to sell directly in store or online, usually have pretty high margin and it's fast turnaround. And a good thing about our retail is that we have service that goes with our retail. So even better, we're selling you the lock and we're rekeying it, or we're making the keys and giving you a lock, or programming your car keys or whatever it may be, or selling you a safe. So retail is one way, right? Second way that we make it and have income here is field service. That's our number one way, actually, is we send techs out in the fields. They run calls. That's our bread and butter. We keep technicians busy, so cash flow is consistent. You have your big projects mixed in with your small projects, so you have steady income with your small projects, but you have deposits and long drawn out projects that every so many months they close and here comes a big chunk of cash, but you need those little daily $200, $300, $100 little tickets to supplement your income. So you want to, if you can, have field service work as well as retail work. Also, if you can get it, reoccurring revenue. We have a lot of cloud-based services that we sell, like Brevo and Eagle Eye and Remote Lock and PDK and Locked and all these other brands. And a lot of those companies have reoccurring monthly revenue. So how that works is, let's say access control. You have 5 doors. Well, Brevo bills us, the provider, like I'm just making a number up, say $5 a door. They bill us $5 a door, and we charge the end user, say $15 a door per month, right? So we say, here's your yearly bill for the cloud service. They pay us. We take the part out. We pay the provider Brevo. We keep the profit, and you do that. And every year that bill comes, reoccurring monthly revenue is what that's called. So if you can create monthly revenue with subscriptions or cloud-based accounts and things, that just makes you even stronger. We do that with like 5 or 6 different companies. So we have a couple hundred reoccurring customers that we bill every month. And then you could also do things like service contracts. So we install these systems and then they go, well, I know we're paying for the cloud storage and stuff, but we actually want you to go in the system for us and to make the changes and to come out every so often and check our cameras and make sure they're all focused and clean them up, make sure that everything's working right, test everything. That's a service contract. So that's another way we can make money, is we say, hey, you pay X amount of money, we'll come out every so often. This is what's included. Here's your service contract package. It's a little bit more cost efficient for you to go with the service contract package versus just calling us out individually every single time. So you build that value. You can also do extended warranties. So extended warranties, like we were going to do it with our car keys and stuff. Like, well, for X amount of money, instead of a 1-year warranty, we'll give you a 3-year warranty on it. Free replacement, or whatever you want to do. And you can create extended warranties. And another one that's very important that people don't usually pay attention to is upselling. Look for other opportunities. You're there, you're in security, offer what you do, talk about everything, look for the security weaknesses, vulnerabilities, and suggest solutions. To me, the easiest thing I've ever been able to sell is security. It's the easiest thing to sell, in my opinion. Anyway, upsells and making sure your team is offering, because it's massive profit over time. And then make sure you're doing reviews. You're getting reviews, which lead to referrals. You have your customer base already, so why not use them? Then you want to look into things like cross-trade expansion. Like, for instance, well, we're already in the house, we're already doing locks, we're already doing cameras. What about we do a alarms then, or home automation, since that's really tied into it. And then you go down that avenue and you start offering those services. Parallel markets, right? Things that are related to what you do. Like in our retail sense, we're about to get in a bigger store soon, and we're going to have knives and utility bags and firearm training stuff and survival gear and all that kind of stuff, and tactical things and personal security products. So all those new products in there we can use. We're giving more opportunity for the customer to buy things in the retail space. And that's all cross-trade stuff that's kind of similar to security. So we brought it in their house. All these ways are very good ways of creating income. You just want to make sure you can get as many of those little feelers out there that are collecting, because like I said, you never know what's going to happen. And when things do happen, it allows you to fall back on those other avenues or take funding out of those areas that are dead right now, put funding into this area so you can get more advertisement in the areas that are working. So as you can see, I broke down here everything that we do as a company, right? There's 13 different items. We don't just do residential locksmithing or automotive locksmithing or commercial locksmithing. We do all that, as well as, safes, CCTV, access control, home automation, service contracts, extended warranties, e-commerce site, YouTube. We have all kinds of crazy things that we do. I make sure that we are very financially stable and have a variety of things that we can do and offer, so that if one industry takes a right turn, kind of like automotive actually right now, a lot of the newer Ford stuff you just can't program right now because you can't crack the software. So that's affecting business. The safes right now, the safe sales have kind of gone down a little bit because of the tariff stuff going on with China and stuff, right? We have to be able to pivot and put funding elsewhere and advertise in other areas until those areas correct themselves. But that's part of being a business owner, and you can't put all your eggs in one basket. And you put it all in one basket, and that's why these people go out of business. I'll talk to these locksmiths sometimes, the security guys, like, oh, well, I only do this. Like, okay, you don't have any interest in doing anything else? Well, it's the only thing I get. Well, all these things are very similar. If you just put a little effort into it, you can learn all these different items and do a lot more work. There's a reason why we get called all the time by all these different companies, because they're like, hey, we got this project in your city that needs to get this thing installed, and we're going to provide you the parts. Can you do it for us? Sure, I can do it for you. It sounds like it's almost like impossible to find people to do it. I'm always like, yeah, I'll do it. I don't know why it's so hard to find people. We like money. We like business and money. And then when you take those jobs with these contractors, because sometimes you get contractors, another way to make money. They give you their work, right? And you do it for them. So we've taken on a lot of contractors lately. We do a lot of contract work, and it has become another avenue of making income. All right, so in conclusion, you want to build a predictable business model. You want to be able to track your monthly revenue. You want to be able to track your recurring monthly revenue. You want to be track your who hasn't paid you, who's paid you. The one that's very challenging is when you do get recurring monthly revenue, then you have to build a system that goes every so often, oh, this bill is due. This is your yearly bill, and you have to keep up with these, or you do it monthly or quarterly. Someone has to keep up with that. And then all these different providers have different plans, different prices. It's a lot to keep up with that. So if you do go down that route, do your research, plan it out thoroughly to make sure it's something you want to take on, because it is a big monster to take on that recurring monthly revenue. You also want to identify which sources are seasonal and which ones are stable. There are some parts of your business that are seasonal and some that are always there no matter what. The good thing is security is most of it is always there. You want to forecast the slow months and adjust labor, or marketing accordingly. So final tips: don't rely on one big client. Spread your risk around. Make sure you're networking, you're creating these relationships. It's very important to create relationships, and your reputation is everything, so you don't want to ruin your reputation. Build a financial cushion for emergencies, which we also have that as well. And when I start hitting my red line, I get nervous, and then you have your cushion, right? So you want that. This way you have your peace of mind. Automate billing and follow up on late invoices if you can't have that working. Don't forget to get your money. You've done all the work. A lot of people, it surprises me. They're just like, oh, this guy never paid me. I'm like, did you drive over there? Did you call him? Because I will, So it's like, make sure you get your money. A lot of people will just mess around with you for a while, and they'll know you'll just give up with lack of effort. Sometimes people literally do, just don't get the money. People will rip you off like that. So be careful. You review your income streams every 90 days, improve and expand and make sure that they're still working for you. So if you want a business that lasts, that's stable, create diversity in your income streams. Okay. You want multiple income streams. This will allow you to be financially strong no matter what happens, whether it's pandemic or tariffs or any other things that could affect your business. Anyway, hopefully this helps you. Thanks for tuning in. We appreciate the support as always. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button, and we're on all the social media platforms. Thanks for tuning in.